In this episode, Google Chrome Web Store, Google TV, and the 5 best things in Fedora 13. QuickSurf Internet Media presents Linux News Log, separating the Linux and open source signal from the noise. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Phoenix, Arizona, here in Studio C1 at QuickSurf Internet Media. Linux News Log is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Do feel free to head on over to techpodcasts.com, and you'll certainly find other technology-related shows over there. Let's go ahead and get into the stories for Season 10, Episode 14. From htlounge.net, there's a story here called Google Plans to Launch the Chrome Web Store for Applications and Games. Google has announced its plans to launch the Chrome Web Store open marketplace, which can be used by developers for web-based applications distribution. A preview was shown at Google's I/O conference and gives hints that the portal will permit the users to preview applications, rate content, report problems, read or write reviews, or directly install various titles. So this is pretty interesting stuff. I kind of see it a little bit as competition to Apple's application store for their iPhone, but this is more for Chrome and web apps, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Let's go ahead and talk about our sponsor for this episode, GoToAssist Express. If you provide technical support to clients, colleagues, friends, or family, have you found an easy, cost-effective way to support them without being there in person? The best way for me to provide technical support is to do it online with GoToAssist Express. I've been able to help friends learn how to use new software and fix family computer problems without actually being there in person. GoToAssist Express lets you easily view and control any other computer online so you can quickly resolve technical issues, whether you're in customer support, technical consulting, or management, or just a computer guru. GoToAssist Express will help you increase revenue, reduce travel and support time, and service more clients. It's brought to you by Citrix, so you know GoToAssist Express will be easy and secure. My audience can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit gotoassist.com/techpodcast. I repeat, my audience can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit gotoassist.com/techpodcast. From mobilemag.com, there's a story here entitled Google and Android to Take Over Your Next TV, and it's called Google TV, believe it or not. The next round of the Mac versus PC cool commercial escalating arms race, I know Microsoft's not actually escalating, but I'm going somewhere with this, work with me, may be settled by a Linux box that will locate and play some better TV for you to enjoy. Revenge of the Nerds. For years, Linux advocates have had sand kicked in their faces by mainstream IT experts. Linux is too nerdy would run the familiar debate-ending tagline. Nobody wants to trust their IT to a bunch of bearded, sandal-wearing freaks. Hey, I'm not beard-wearing, and I'm certainly not sandal-wearing. Anyway. And my own recurring favorite, a lot of important connections were made at the show while the Linux contingent sat in the corner shooting down aliens on their homemade computers. Ha. Well, Google took Linux to the end of the telecommunications chessboard and promoted that pawn to a queen. Android, Google's open handset operating system guise of Linux, now runs a continuously increasing market share of smartphones, and here's a multi-million channel TV based on one and the same. So it'll be interesting to see once this comes to market and you can actually get something in your hands. Be interesting to see how well this works. This is basically a la, if there were one, Microsoft Windows Media Center PCs or an Apple TV. This is Google TV. So it'll be, I'm curious to see how it'll work out. Only time will tell. It'll be interesting to get an actual set-top box in and play with it. So I'm interested in seeing this in action. From MarketWire, there's a story here. Automation Development Lab joins the Linux Foundation. The Linux Foundation, the nonprofit organization dedicated to accelerating the growth of Linux, today announced that the Open Source Automation Development Lab, otherwise known as the OSADL, has become a member and will collaborate with other members on embedded and industrial Linux efforts. Founded in 2005, OSADL coordinates the development of open source projects in the areas of embedded and industrial design, including projects focused on real-time and safety-critical Linux, I/O framework, real-time Ethernet, and special drivers for the Linux kernel required by the automation industry. OSADL regularly releases latest stable industrial real-time Linux kernel versions and announces them on the OSADL website at osadl.org. So be kind of interesting. Obviously, this is, the Linux Foundation pretty much is always pulling in new members. So this is just one of the latest members being pulled in, and it's pretty cool stuff. From Computer World, there's a story from Stephen J. Von Nichols in his Cyber Cynic blog called The 5 Best Things Coming to Fedora 13 Linux. This is pretty cool. When Fedora 13 Goddard is released on May 25th, it's not going to be your usual Fedora Linux release. In the past, Fedora has been seen as a great Linux distribution for Linux experts. Paul W. Fields, the Fedora project leader, told me, though, that this release is more new, user-friendly, and is no longer just for experienced Linux users. Based on my early look at this Red Hat community Linux distribution, I agree. So, first thing, professional level color management. Number 2, better printer driver support. This, for me, has always been a big issue with Linux. It's like, can we please get the printer stuff working? Come on. Improved open source graphics drivers. I've also had quite a bit of issues with graphics drivers. For whatever reason, my hardware, every time I load Linux up, it's like, you can only do 800 by 600. What? Come on. Improved KVM support, easier to use and more stable to boot. So again, these are 5 things to look out for when you are trying out Fedora 13. Stephen J. Von Nichols expands quite a bit on these 5 points, so by all means, check the article out. Go to the website, check it out. It's pretty neat stuff. From Computer World again, there's a story from Stephen J. Von Nichols. Linuxcare returns with focus in the cloud. Back in Linux's early days, Linuxcare emerged as the first important Linux support company. In 1998, the company made headlines not just in the technology press, but in mainstream business publications like the Wall Street Journal as the company that would help businesses switch over to Linux. It was not to last. Poor top management decisions led Linuxcare to lose first its way and then years later to quietly vanish. Boy, I remember those days. I really thought Linuxcare was going to be there, but boy, did they not. Now, one of its founders, Arthur F. Tide III, has brought Linuxcare back from the grave and made it ready for the 21st century. So definitely check it out. I'm not going to go into all the details, but definitely cool stuff. That'll pretty much do it for this edition of Linux News Log. As always, everything we've talked about is linked up in the show notes. Visit us on the web, linux.quicksurf.com. You can follow me online, twitter.com/Adrian_bacon. And with that, I will see all of you on the next episode. See you then. Bye.